On the 26th at First Methodist Church, it's the back to school bash. Not a lot of kids want to hear that's back to school. I know some parents, though, like to hear it's back to school. So, what's going to be happening the morning of the 26th?
Well, it's really a cool thing. And how it started was during COVID. We had so many of our patients that were just stressing out because they weren't working. They were working in construction and service industries that were just absolutely shut down. And there was one father that just really got to me, and he just said, I don't know how we'll get our kids back to school and ready to go back to school. And I said, so me, I phoned up a couple of local go-tos, a couple of banks, and just said, we got to do this. And we threw this little back to school bash together. We ran out of stuff in the first hour. It was amazing and sad at the same time. So we learned that First United Methodist was going to be doing one the next day. So we kind of could send everyone there that didn't, get a backpack where we were, but they were just having a drive-through where you could just pick up the backpack. So we just decided together we were better and stronger. So 3 years ago, we merged our efforts and we started the Back to School Bash, and it has just grown ever since. And last year, we served over 1,500 kids. And we tried to think about the full continuum of what it meant for parents to get these kids ready to go back to school and why these stresses were, affecting their health too. The parents, they're stressed so much about trying to make ends meet. And then it was during a pandemic, and now it's just the economic downturn. And so what we do, it's so cool. These families line up starting at 6 a.m. around the Life Center at First United Methodist Church downtown off of 15th Street. And once they get through the doors, these kids get a backpack. And this is so special because the Little Ladies Guild prayer circle at First United Methodist prays over these backpacks and attaches these adorable little tags that say they were prayed over. And then these kids literally get to start around the room and just fill this bag full of everything that we have. And we've tried to stay on the Fort Smith Public School list, and stay, consistent with what they require. And these kids get to shop. They get to pick out the color of their pencil pack. It's amazing. But then beyond that, so many of these kids, it'll blow your mind how many have not been to the doctor since they were born, Daren, Bob, since they were born. And these parents are terrified and glad at the same time. And our volunteer physicians at the Good Samaritan Clinic and the medical students at RCOM, we all come together, and they have these incredible makeshift little exam rooms. And these kids get full-on physicals that are, we adhere to the form of the Fort Smith Public School System and what they require. But these kids get top-notch medical care. They get checked out about their hearing. And then this year, an added amazing addition is the Fort Smith Local Lions Club purchased a very impressive and expensive piece of equipment that literally tests kids' eyes, children's eyes, because so many parents don't even know their kids have a sight problem at that age. So we're going to have that on site as well. And then our tried and true partners, Bank OZK, they provide breakfast for the kids. And Andy's Custard, I know you're not supposed to have ice cream in the morning, but this year we were not getting rid of this incredible corporate partner. And who wouldn't love ice cream and donuts for breakfast? It's summer, right, DB? It's time to have a little fun. And we have so many volunteers that come out and help. First National Bank has been a sponsor since the beginning. 2 years ago, Walmart came on board with us. And you can't imagine. And there's an incredible foundation out in Alma called Hand to Hand Foundation. And they donate so many school supplies at just a minor cost. And again, this is the cool part. These parents line up because 2 years ago, First United Methodist started shoe vouchers. So we go through shoe department and we get $25 shoe vouchers. And the first, however many we have, those first kids through the door get to go pick out a new pair of shoes. And how many of us don't remember that? That was so much fun in school. And so there's just so much for these kids to do and some positive things like getting their physicals and their eyes tested. And then the haircuts. Oh my gosh, DB, the haircuts. We have incredible barbers and hairdressers from all over the region. We love Josiah. Josiah comes in with this flak jacket full of all these different fancy razors. these kids are leaving with lightning bolts in their hair. Their smiles are beaming. It's like you can't even imagine. And that's why we go a little bit longer from 8 to noon for the kids that need physicals and the kids that need haircuts, because obviously that requires a little bit more time. But yeah, it's just an action-packed morning. It's in the air conditioning. It's inside. So yeah, we're just very fortunate that so many people see the value in what we're doing. And like I said, last year we served 1,500 families, and I feel like we'll have every bit of that this year.
Just to reiterate, it starts at 8 o'clock, and for the actual backpack or the bash, back to school bash, it goes from 8 to 10. But if you want to get the haircut physical, that will extend till noon.
Yeah, because what we're going to try to do this year is hand out vouchers in the line, because the line it literally wraps around 2 blocks downtown. So because a lot of times what we noticed last year is parents got in there like, oh, what? There's haircuts, there's physicals. And so this time, if we know they need them, because a lot of them have had them, some of them may have had to go to the doctor for another reason and had gotten that physical. But, for an average family to walk into a Doc in the Box, we're talking $120, $150. This is totally free. And when I tell you, world-class physicians, we're talking about world-class physicians, local nephrologist does it. Our infectious disease doctor, Dr. Stillwell, absolutely loves it. And, to watch the medical students who are obviously in that learning stage too. I mean, there's not one person, a ton of volunteers. My church alone has raised $3,500 for shoe vouchers. They know the value of what it feels like to be able to go back to school in a new pair of shoes, A, that fit, and B, wasn't your big sister's hand-me-downs. You get to pick out a pair of shoes. It's really awesome. And another community partner, the Clothes Closet, they gave us, 1,500 pairs of Bombas socks to hand out. I mean, you're from this town. You know what it's like. People hear of a need and a child in need, and, making it nice and exciting for kids to want to go back to school.
Who can come to this?
Anyone can come to this. Anyone that has the need can come to this. We do not, I've always felt that way. I mean, we're not going to keep anyone from coming to this, but the one thing that is very important, and we have to do it this way, and I know it's hard, but the child has to be present. Absolutely has to be present. And that's just, I mean, because we know, I mean, unfortunately, there's a dark side of our world, and people want to take advantage of charitable, opportunities. And it's just, over the years, we've just determined the child has got to be there. Yeah, there's just no other way around it. And I hate that because, a parent will be like, my kid got sick in the line and was not here. And after the event was over, we had some backpacks left, and we just keep those on site at First Methodist. And if they find a child in need or someone that needs, they'll continue to hand those out throughout the year. But yeah, that's just the only serious requirement we have at all. Obviously, if you know families that are in need, please send them our way, on Saturday, July 26th, 8 to noon. And obviously it's while quantities last, but we have at least 1,500 backpacks. And I mean, and we served every bit of that last year. And I had a lot of ladies from my church volunteer, and they're just like, they stood up in church when we started raising money for these shoe vouchers. And they're just like, you have no idea the blessing you will receive by just going and taking part in this. And it really does. It makes you proud to be from the community. It makes you proud to be reminded of just how generous the people and the corporations and the organizations are in this town. Because pulling together and doing things together, you're just always stronger and better together. And we've found it to just be an amazing event just for us too, because we get a lot out of it. And it's our way too of giving back to our community.
All right, Patty, thank you so much. Have a great time on the 26th.
We will. And we thank you so much for spreading the word.